So hello everybody, thanks for coming here on such a snowy day. Firstly, thanks to Tim and Kenma. We had an amazing round of speakers, both Josh, Chris, and we have a great product that David is going to speak about, Expensify. I'm going to be talking about blockchain labs, but what we're trying to solve here is the problem of trust, the problem of how we handle trust, and the reason how we will handle that trust within our issues with finances. So this is a disclaimer, some of these opinions are just mine, it may not represent the firm, so I just need to put it out. Okay, so what is HCL, right? So HCL, as you can see, is a huge global services provider, and we, as the CVK, the CEO puts it, we do software services delivery through mode 1, 2, and 3, through blockchains, innovative technologies, artificial intelligence, and of course, normal. That is me. My parents wanted me to learn all the alphabets, so they gave me a long name. My dad is actually here, so. But I go myself as Aloy. I am an ideapreneur with HCL. We do a lot of business transformations. A lot of my work involves doing business transformations for huge firms. The way we do it is using technologies such as ERP, SAP, Oracle. With regards to innovation labs, I lead cloud AI and blockchains, especially on the CoTrust platform that we have for blockchains. So, which movie? Tell me the name of the movie. Can anybody guess? Jerry Maguire, that's right. I often, as a consultant, I feel like him, now on the phone, it's talking to our clients. But that is the fundamental problem that we are trying to address. The problem of us having lack of trust with regards to managing our money. Since we have that lack of trust, we usually depend on intermediaries or middlemen, right? A middleman would be a bank, it would be a brokerage firm, it would be a title company. So that is the fundamental problem that we are trying to solve. The way we are trying to solve the problem is using blockchains and FinTech. This is a big slide, but to simply put, blockchain and FinTech are going to change and disrupt this world bigly. You're going to be winning bigly. So be it in cross-border payments, be it in remittances, be it in smart contracts, or be it in record keeping, right? Blockchain is going to come up. So what do we do as blockchain for a company? We have a phenomenal product. The name of the product is CoTrust, and we use blockchain as a service. Don't just take my name as my word for saying that we have a good product. We have co-innovation partnership with some great global companies like SAP, IBM, Microsoft. The partnership with SAP, we went to Germany a couple of years back. And in those years, we created a partnership for a co-innovation lab for them. Our product can be used from anyone, from people in academia to people in startups, as well as global firms out here like Intel, Nike, or any of those firms. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what we have as a product. In the bottom of the service, we have a blockchain. Currently, the things that we're using are Hyperledger and Ethereum. On top of these, we have already created pre-existing services which you don't have to create anymore, right? We're going to do your node management, we're going to do your transaction management, we're going to do security and auditing for you. We have pre-built dashboards, and we already have connections to Internet of Things. And on top of these, we have apps for each of the verticals that you want, maybe supply chain, financials, media, healthcare. So we have built all of this, and all of this you can access using an omni-channel network, be it web, be it phone. And you might say, hey, I have my firm, and my firm already has ERP systems. So we already have pre-built APIs that connect with these ERP systems or EDI integrations with REST API. So that is fundamentally what we are offering as a product. Then you would ask me the question, why should I buy CoTrust? So let me tell you, right? Someone like for a student, for example, a student in Portland State University interested in doing blockchain work. Somebody like is an entrepreneur who wants to do some POCs, or be it a global company like Intel, Nike, or OHSU or Core, or take anybody, right? Someone in their firm wants, as a CIO, thinks about doing blockchain work. First, there's a lot of overhead costs. You have to spend a lot of money on infrastructure. a lot of money on the software talent and as well as the time that it will take. It will take minimum 6 months for you to do this. What we are trying to do is offer this as a service to all of you, such that we can do a use case and a POC, proof of concept, for you within 2 weeks. Not only that, we are enabling this in such a way that you can do this with a single integration. Basically, let's say you use Hyperledger or use Ethereum, and then you want to use Ripple. You don't have to change your software because we are providing that software and we will integrate it. So that's something about it. I'll take some questions. If you want, I have a quick demo and I can show it to you if you want to see that. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, let me open. Created a demo for basically you can do invoice factoring and how it is working on a blockchain and how we have used it for one of our clients. That's all. You're not missing out on much. But definitely, I'll take some questions.
One question. What kind of applications have you been working with so far?
When you say applications, are you talking about blockchain applications? Or?
Yeah. Like what kind of real world use cases?
So we have done a couple of really big financial firms because of non-disclosure agreements. I cannot tell you, but they are in the space of remittances. So cross-border payments. Think about big people sending money from here to other places. So we're doing some work for them. We have done some work for Know Your Customer for another financial firm. Again, I know I cannot take. So basically, the concept is simple, right? You have your driver's license, and a driver's license gives you a lot of information. You don't want to necessarily see all the information that you want, right? You want to see only certain information. So we're using blockchain to use that information to be sent only to those people saying that, hey, this is a valid customer, you can trust him because we know him. Yeah.
So is this a private blockchain, or does it build on one of the public blockchains?
So it builds on two public blockchains. One is Hyperledger and one is Ethereum. We are also working on Ripple. We also have private consortiums for R3. In a big way, we do a lot of stuff for, let's say, a firm like in a healthcare provider because of HIPAA rules and other stuff, right? You want some of their data masked, and we do that encryption for them. So it's not like if anybody pulls up something from the blockchain, some data is so encrypted that you can't see it. Any other questions? Okay, sorry.
I have a two-part. So am I right to assume you're using Hyperledger Fabric?
Yes.
Okay. Second part, are you integrating Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric together, or are you offering them as two separate services?
So I'm offering them as two separate services, both as Hyperledger 1.2 and Ethereum. But the top software layer remains the same. So you are not going to even see what is Hyperledger or what is Ethereum or what if it is Ripple. You won't see any of that. You would be seeing just the application. Any other questions? Yeah.
Will you use other blockchain protocols based on what customers are looking for, or you just say internally we're just going to work with Ethereum and Hyperledger?
So internally, the reason we started is with the Hyperledger and Ethereum. So we have a lot of demand where customers want us to use Ripple, and because of the cross-border payments. So we may use it if the customer demands it, right? So basically, if the customer wants us to use Ripple, we'll use it for them. But mostly we work on Hyperledger and Ethereum because the demand for smart contracts, invoicing, FinTech stuff happens very quick in those two. We can solve those use cases within those two blockchains.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.